Hey, what's happening? Lee Hayward here, out for a walk right now. And normally a walk is a gentle form of exercise for me, what I would consider active recovery. But today's walk is a challenging one. It's one of the hardest walks that I've done in, I can't remember when, literally, because this past weekend I came down with COVID. First time I've ever gotten it, right? I made it to 2024 through all the heyday of the pandemic and everything else, and never really had any issues. Never had it at all, obviously. But just this past weekend, I finally got it. And man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It really did. It's just like a good swift kick to the nuts as far as my strength and energy and motivation and everything else. So obviously workouts are non-existent. But one thing that I am doing, just for my, if nothing else, for my mental sanity, getting out for a walk. And I did a little walk yesterday. I'm going for a little bigger one today. And for those of you who are wondering, I am self-isolating, right? I'm out in the frickin' woods. So I'm 6 feet away from everybody, don't worry. But man, this is a challenge. And for those of you who've been following along, especially over on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook group, I've been sharing a little over a month ago, I really focused on getting myself back in shape. And really dialed in my training, dialed in my nutrition, ended up losing 9 pounds of body fat over the last month. Really feeling good, setting some positive momentum. I want to really kick things up a notch for the summer. Right, that's my whole summer shred journey that I've been sharing over on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook group. And then sure enough, just this past weekend, bang, gets hit with this. So obviously this is going to set things back big time. But the reason why I want to share this is because this type of scenario is more common than you think. What I mean is you finally muster up the motivation and the willpower and everything else to do something, right? If you start that diet, you start that workout, you finally take action to do something, and then once you get the momentum going, something happens. You know, the shit hits the fan, so to speak. And it could be anything. Like, this is something I see common with my coaching students. Like, sometimes people come on board with the coaching program and they're all excited and they're motivated, they're taking action, and then they lose their job, or they break up with their significant other, or they have a death in the family, or some other major obstacle that they didn't see coming happens right at the same time when they finally made that decision to take action and do something, right? It's just ironic how that happens. And I see it in a lot of cases. And this is not a new concept. And even one of my mentors was telling me, it's like, when this happens, it's like the universe is testing you. It's challenging you. It's seeing how bad do you really want this? And when you look at the stories of anybody who's achieved success in any area, whether that's fitness or business or sports or whatever, it's rarely ever smooth sailing. It's usually a lot of challenges, a lot of setbacks, a lot of things that they didn't foresee, and they push through it anyway. And that's the real take-home message is, regardless of what life throws at you, what obstacles come your way, can you still push through it? And if you can, you will eventually come out the other side better for it. And if you can't, then unfortunately you won't. So I'm looking at this as just another challenge, another obstacle. And it's almost like, the hero's journey. Like, if you see any good movie, for example, like, they always go through these unexpected challenges that you didn't see coming. And it makes for an awesome movie, but your life is like that movie as well. So if things were just smooth sailing, like, oh, I set a goal, I went out, I worked, and I achieved the goal, and lived happily ever after. Like, there's not much story to that. There's not much substance to it. Like, if there was a movie that came out in the box office, right? Here's the hero. He went out, set out to do his mission, never had any challenges whatsoever, achieved his goal, the end. You say, that movie sucked, right? You want the challenges. You want to see people go through adversity and come out on the other side. And that's the way I'm kind of looking at this. Now, I know in the greater scheme of things, getting sick isn't a big one. Like, most people have had the virus by now. In fact, when I'm talking to people, some people have had it multiple times. Now, this is my first time getting it, and it's hitting me pretty hard, but I'm making the best of it and getting through it. But I just want to kind of share it because you've probably experienced something yourself in a similar way, where maybe you have tried to start a new fitness program and something came up that threw you off course. Or maybe you've worked towards whatever. Like, if you're a business owner and you're starting a business, like, in your mind's eye, you have an idea of what's gonna take to build that business. But once you start down the road, then there's all these challenges that you didn't see coming. Stuff that just pops up, challenge and obstacle after obstacle, and you have to push through it. And again, if you can push through it, you will get to the other side, and the victory is going to be that much sweeter because of it. Whereas if you don't, and you give up in the face of adversity, basically, you're just going to be living a life of mediocrity and not very pleased. So push through, regardless of those challenges. That's what I'm really getting at here. And it's unfortunate when it happens, but having a support team and people who you can bounce ideas off and share this kind of stuff with can really make a difference. And even within our VIP coaching group, like the Muscle After 40 Blueprint program, this is some of the stuff that we focus on a lot. It's not just the calories and the macros and the workout split and all that. Like, that's not what determines somebody's success or failure long term. What determines somebody's success or failure long term is how they can deal with the challenges that life throws at them and still keep moving forward, right? It's like that quote that Rocky had in the movie, like, all the challenges that life throws at you, beat you down to your knees, and can you get up and keep moving forward?
You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
That's what determines success or failure. It's not the perfect workout, the perfect macros, the perfect splits, or the perfect whatever, the perfect diet plan. It's none of that stuff, right? I mean, like, yeah, now don't get me wrong, they do play a role, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's this up here, right? Can you battle the demons that are going on up there and still move forward? And if you can, then you'll ultimately achieve success. And if you can't, then you'll just be another has-been who's struggling and like, oh, poor me, blah, blah, blah. So, bottom line, push through the adversity. And I just want to share this with you as well. Look at this. Spring is in the air, as you can see. This is Manuel's River. Nice walking trail that I love to enjoy. Normally this walk only takes me about 20 minutes, but I'm sure it's taken me way longer than that today. I'm not moving very fast today in my state, but you know what? It feels good to get out, and I'm grateful to get out nonetheless, right? Even though my strength and energy and all that's kind of in the crapper right now, feels good just to be out doing this. If nothing else, it's elevating my mood temporarily, and that certainly helps the process along as well. So I'm just curious to know, for those of you watching this now, have you ever experienced this yourself, where you set a goal, you finally took action, started making some progress towards that goal, and then shortly thereafter you got hit with a big challenge, right? Something happened, the excrement hit the fan, and it really set you back, whatever that was. Again, it might be a job loss, or it might have been, a breakup, or it could have been a death in the family, or some other unforeseen challenges, challenges with your home, or whatever. Like, it's like even flooding, or natural disasters, or something took control and just kind of derails all the progress you're making, and really forces you to refocus. And it's kind of like the universe is testing you. How bad do you really want this? You say you want it, but do you really want it? Are you truly willing to do whatever it takes, or are you only willing to do what it takes when it's easy and convenient? Because if that's the case, you're probably not going to achieve much success. But if you can push through, even when it's not convenient, even when it's extra hard, even when you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway because you have a greater purpose in mind, that's when the magic happens. So I'm pushing through today, and I know this is a setback in my personal fitness journey that I'm on right now, but in the greater scheme of things, it's just a bump in the road. You know, as they say, this too shall pass, and before you know it, I'll be back on track again, and this will just be a distant memory and something that I'm going to look back on and say, you know what, that came, I overcame it, and pushed on. Well, bring on the next challenge. I'm ready for it, right? It's building those internal muscles. I don't know, the willpower muscles, the grit muscles, the muscles that count, right? It's not your biceps and your pecs that determine your true strength. Is that inner grit, right? Can you keep pushing forward when you don't feel like it? And if you can, that's where true character and true success is built. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my walk. I'll talk to you soon. Over and out.